Have you ever stepped on the scale and thought, where did these extra pounds come from? Even though you swear you're eating the same way you always have? If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. After 65, our bodies go through changes that can make weight management feel like an uphill battle, no matter how careful we are. But here's the good news. Once you understand why it's happening, you can actually do something about it. That's why today, we're talking about 4 sneaky reasons you might be gaining weight after 65. And more importantly, what you can do to stop it. These aren't the usual eat less, move more tips you've heard a million times. Instead, we're digging into the hidden factors that many people don't realize are working against them. And trust me, once you know what to look for, you'll feel so much more in control. So, let's start with the first sneaky culprit. Your slowing metabolism. Now, you've probably heard that metabolism slows with age, but did you know it's not just about getting older? A big part of it is actually muscle loss. After 30, we naturally start losing muscle mass, about 3 to 5% per decade, and that loss speeds up even more after 65. Since muscle burns more calories than fat, even at rest, less muscle means your body just doesn't need as many calories as it used to. So if you're eating the same portions you did in your 50s, those extra calories can quietly add up over time. But here's the encouraging part. You can fight back. Strength training, even just light weights or resistance bands, a few times a week, helps preserve and rebuild muscle. And you don't need a gym or heavy equipment to start. Simple exercises like chair squats, wall push-ups, or carrying groceries can make a real difference. The key is consistency, not intensity. Even small efforts add up over time. Now, let's talk about another hidden factor: medications. If you've noticed weight changes after starting a new prescription, don't ignore that connection. Common medications like beta blockers for blood pressure, certain antidepressants, or even steroids can slow metabolism, increase appetite, or cause fluid retention. Of course, never stop taking prescribed medication without talking to your doctor, but do bring up your concerns. There might be alternative options with fewer side effects, or your doctor can help you adjust your diet to counteract the effects. For example, if your medication makes you hungrier, try adding more protein and fiber to your meals to stay full longer. Or if it causes water retention, reducing salty processed foods and drinking more water can help. Yes, it sounds backward, but hydration helps flush excess fluids. The point is, you're not powerless. You just need to know what you're dealing with. And here's something else that might surprise you. Your sleep habits could be working against you. Poor sleep, whether it's trouble falling asleep, waking up often, or just not feeling rested, messes with 2 key hunger hormones: ghrelin, which makes you feel hungry, and leptin, which signals fullness. When you're sleep deprived, ghrelin spikes and leptin drops, leaving you craving carbs and sugary snacks for quick energy. Plus, exhaustion makes it harder to resist those cravings or stay active. If this sounds familiar, try shifting your focus from just diet to improving sleep quality. A regular bedtime routine, limiting screen time before bed, and avoiding caffeine late in the day can all help. And if pain keeps you up, a small adjustment like a new pillow or a heat pad might make a bigger difference than you'd expect. Now, I know this is a lot to think about, but here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to tackle everything at once. Maybe this week, you focus on adding a few strength exercises, or you write down your medications to discuss with your doctor. Small steps still move you forward. And we're just getting started. Next, we'll talk about 2 more sneaky reasons weight creeps up after 65, including one that's all about timing. But for now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these factors affecting your weight? Share your experiences in the comments. You might help someone else feel less alone in this. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on thriving after 65. Remember, knowledge is power, and you've got this. We have talked about how medications, muscle loss, and poor sleep can secretly tip the scales after 65. But there's another sneaky factor that catches so many of us off guard. And it's not about what you're eating, but rather when you're eating it. Let me explain. Have you noticed that as you've gotten older, your appetite seems to have a mind of its own? Maybe you're not hungry at breakfast anymore, but ravenous by mid-afternoon. Or perhaps you find yourself craving snacks late at night while watching TV. This brings us to our third sneaky culprit: shifting hunger patterns. After 65, our bodies often change how they regulate hunger and fullness signals. You might naturally start eating less at meals, but then compensate with more frequent snacking, often on foods that aren't doing your waistline any favors. And here's something fascinating. Research shows that our bodies process calories differently at different times of day. Eating more of your calories earlier, when you're naturally more active, can actually help with weight management. Try this simple experiment for a week. Make lunch your biggest meal of the day with a lighter dinner. Many of my viewers have found that this one change helps them feel more satisfied while naturally eating fewer calories overall. And if evening snacking is your downfall, try brushing your teeth right after dinner. It sends a clear signal that eating time is over. Now, let's talk about our fourth sneaky reason: the hydration-weight connection. This one surprises most people. As we age, our sense of thirst diminishes, sometimes making us mistake thirst for hunger. You might think you're craving a snack, when really, your body just needs water. Chronic mild dehydration can also slow your metabolism by up to 3%, which might not sound like much, but over months and years, it can definitely show up on the scale. Here's an easy fix. Start your day with a glass of water before anything else. Keep a water bottle handy during the day, and if you feel sudden hunger, try drinking some water first and waiting 15 minutes. You might find the craving disappears. Herbal teas count too. In fact, peppermint or ginger tea can be especially good after meals to aid digestion and curb sweet cravings. But there's another aspect to hydration that often gets overlooked. Many of us are eating our water without realizing it. Foods like soups, cucumbers, watermelon, and berries help hydrate us while providing fiber and nutrients. Compare that to dry, processed snacks like crackers or chips that actually pull water from your body during digestion. Making this simple swap can make a noticeable difference in how you feel and look. Now, I want to address something important before we move forward. If you're feeling frustrated because you've tried some of these things before without results, I hear you. The truth is, what worked at 55 might need adjusting at 65 or 75. Our bodies are constantly changing, and that means we need to adapt our approaches too. Maybe that means smaller portions of the foods you love, or finding new ways to stay active that work with your current mobility. The key is being willing to experiment and find what works for you now. This is why I always recommend keeping a simple journal for a couple weeks, just noting when you feel hungry, what you eat, how you sleep, and how you feel energy-wise. You might spot patterns you never noticed before. One viewer, Margaret, told me she discovered she was always reaching for cookies at 3 p.m., not because she was hungry, but because she was bored while waiting for her grandkids to get home from school. Once she realized that, she started calling a friend during that time instead, and the cravings disappeared. Remember, the goal here isn't perfection. It's awareness and small, sustainable changes. In our final part, we'll tie everything together with some simple strategies to put all this knowledge into action. But for now, why not pick one of these ideas, maybe the water experiment or the lunch as your main meal approach, and see how it works for you. As always, I'd love to hear what you discover in the comments below. Your experiences might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. You know, as we wrap up this conversation about weight changes after 65, I want to share something important that my grandfather used to tell me. Getting older isn't about giving things up. It's about trading up for what works better now. And that's exactly what we're doing with these sneaky weight gain factors. We're not here to take away the foods you love or demand exhausting workouts. We're finding smarter ways to work with your body, not against it. Now, let's talk about one final hidden factor that might be the most surprising of all: your gut health. After 65, the balance of bacteria in your digestive system naturally changes. And this can actually affect how your body processes food and stores fat. You might be eating the same foods as always, but if your gut bacteria have shifted, your body could be extracting more calories from them than it used to. The good news? You can nourish your gut health with some simple additions to your diet. Try incorporating fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, or sauerkraut a few times a week. These contain probiotics that help maintain a healthy gut balance. And don't forget about prebiotics, foods like bananas, onions, garlic, and whole grains. They feed the good bacteria. One easy swap: try having a banana with your breakfast instead of juice. You'll get fiber, prebiotics, and natural sweetness all in one. But here's what I really want you to take away from all this. Small changes create big results over time. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. In fact, that approach usually backfires. Instead, focus on one manageable change at a time. Maybe this month you work on hydration and gut-healthy foods. Next month, you might focus on adjusting your meal timing or adding some simple strength exercises. Let me leave you with 3 powerful mindset shifts that can make all the difference. 1. Focus on how food makes you feel, not just how it tastes. That afternoon cookie might be delicious, but if it leaves you feeling sluggish an hour later, was it really worth it? 2. Celebrate non-scale victories. Maybe your clothes fit better, you have more energy, or you're sleeping more soundly. These matter just as much as the number on the scale. 3. Be patient with yourself. Your body didn't change overnight, and the solutions won't either. Progress, not perfection, is what counts. I'd love to hear which of these strategies resonates most with you. Have you tried any gut-healthy foods that made a difference? Or maybe you've discovered another sneaky factor affecting your weight. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more honest conversations about thriving after 60. Remember, you're not just getting older, you're getting wiser about how to care for your amazing body. Here's to your health, happiness, and all the wonderful years ahead. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.